Girl in the Woods. It started with this recurring nightmare. It happened about twice a week. I am always a little girl in a dream. I have my doll, brushing her hair. My mom is sitting on the couch, crying. I sense she has been upset and crying like this for weeks, maybe months. It makes me sad to see her like that. I give her a hug and tell her I love her. She puts me in the bathtub, gently washing me and stroking my hair. She then gets down to eye level and tells me she loves me more than anything in the world. And then, to never forget that, she kisses my forehead and disappears out of the bathroom door. After a while, I tire of playing with the bath toys. I drain the water, dry myself, and put the clothes on my mom has set out for me. I exit the bathroom and walk down the hall towards the living room. I'm feeling hungry, so I call out and ask Mom what we are having for dinner, just to get no answer. "Mom!" I yell, just to get the same result. I search the house to find her, nowhere. The only place left to look is the garage. I'm not supposed to go into the garage, but one little peek to see if she is there isn't going to hurt. I turn the knob, slowly pushing the door open to peek inside. I see my mom hanging from a beam in the ceiling. Startled, I scream and jump back, falling on my back. I rush to my feet, grab my doll and run as fast as I can out of the front door, down the steps and towards the woods. As I leave the porch, I also leave the little girl's point of view. I'm now standing on the porch, yelling for her to come back as she disappears into the tree line. I see something move out of my peripheral, followed by a low-spoken voice. The voice that says my name, Callie. I turn to see where the voice comes from. I jump in surprise to see the little girl's dead mom, bloodshot eyes glaring at me. She is sickly, pale white and blood tickling out of her mouth, down her chin. She speaks again. Save her. That's when I wake up, tears streaming down my face each and every time. The feeling of depression and regret fills my soul. The feeling passes after a few seconds, and the first thing I do is get up and check my daughter, Katie, then go back to bed. I've heard recurring dreams are caused by stress, with my husband passing away 6 months ago in a car crash, on top of having to work more with Christmas closing in fast. That alone is stressful enough. I also feel guilty about not being home as much to spend time with my Katie. She seems to understand, but we have had things come up, missing from the house. Nothing alarming. A few toys, food, even a whole box of unopened Pop-Tarts. I thought this was just her way of acting out, seeking the attention I haven't been able to give her lately. One evening, I threw a frozen pizza in the oven. It was laundry day, and I didn't have the time to prepare a meal. When it had finished cooking, I set it on top of the stove to cool, while I finished folding the laundry. When I came back, I noticed 2 slices missing. I go to the front door to call in Katie for supper. That's when I noticed her walking towards the door with 2 slices of pizza in her hand. "Katie, get in this house! What are you doing anyway? You could get lost in the woods and cause your mom to have a heart attack." She sits the pizza on the ground in front of the tree line and walks towards me. "Sorry, Mom. I was taking my friend some food. She's hungry." "A friend from school?" I asked. "No, she's homeschooled. Her name is Harley. She doesn't have any friends, so I'm going to be her friend. Oh, well, that's nice of you. As I closed the door, I noticed the 2 pizza slices were gone. This is strange, but I didn't think much of it at the time. Animals most likely. Things started getting strange when my dreams started penetrating reality. It began with seeing movement out of the corner of my eye. Things I would just chalk up to being paranoid, tired and overworked. But things progressively got worse, and eventually escalated to full-blown terrifying. One afternoon, on my way home from work, my radio started going haywire. It was switching through channels by itself, before going to nothing but static. The volume was steadily increasing. It was starting to get to the point of being annoying. I started pressing buttons, any button to get a static sound away, before finally hitting the power button to get a sweet relief of silence. I let a sigh out of relief, just to be startled by the static turning back on. Volume, louder than I thought possible from car stereo. The sound echoed through my ears, causing them to hurt. I feel the warmth of a liquid running down my neck. I look in my rear to view a mirror to see blood oozing out of my ears. I slam my finger into the power button to get no result. I pick up speed as I can see my driveway in the distance. I pull in the driveway and shut off the car, but the static is still spewing out of my car speakers as loud as ever. I pop the hood and proceed to pull the battery cables off. Thankfully, the static subsides. Ears ring. I look at the side mirror to see no blood oozing from my ears. Like it had been seconds before. Confused, I brush my hair aside and turn my head to get a good look at the other ear to see the mom from my dreams peering over my shoulder with those bloodshot eyes. I can only manage to let out a terrified gasp as I whip around to see no one there. Panicked, I close the hood and hurry inside to relieve my mom from my babysitting duties. She had retired a few months back. She enjoyed picking up Katie from school and spending time with her while I was at work. Something wrong, honey? She can see I'm visibly shaking. No, I'm fine. Just overworked and lack of sleep. I can stay if you want. I can take care of Katie while you catch up on your sleep. No, thanks. Maybe I'll take you up on that some other time. Okay, if you change your mind, just give me a ring. I'll see you tomorrow, sweetie. She pauses a moment before closing the door on her way out. Just promise me you'll get some sleep, Kylie. You look terrible. Okay, Mom, I promise. A few hours of cleaning and helping Katie with her homework had passed. I'm at the stove. The smell of garlic bread in the oven fills the air. The smell gives me a nostalgic feeling. As a kid, I looked forward to the Thursday dinner when I knew I would be eating spaghetti and garlic bread. My favorite meal. The earlier events of that day in the back of my mind. I'd finally start to calm down. That is before the kitchen radio turns on itself. Phil Collins' voice blaring out of the speakers. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. I've sang those lyrics and played the air drums, just like everyone else that knows this song. But that night, that song had an ominous feeling about it. A chill runs up my spine as I picture those bloodshot eyes staring at me from behind. I turn around to see nothing. I quickly walked up to the radio to turn it off. It immediately turns back on. I pull the plug from the wall, just to get no result. Phil Collins suddenly turns to the static sound from earlier. My panic quickly turns to anger. I start to punch the radio over and over. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! I yell with each punch thrown. What do you want from me? I yell at the radio. The static comes to an abrupt stop before the soft-spoken voice comes through. Save her. Save who? Katie? Save her from what? I don't understand! After getting no answer, I picked up the radio and hurled it across the room, shattering it on impact. I fall to the floor, knees drawn up to my chest, with my head buried into them. I start to cry. Is everything okay, Mommy? Katie, I forgot about her being in the house during all the commotion. The adrenaline wearing off. I could feel my hand starting to throb. She shuffles over and picks up my hand to inspect the bloody mess that are my knuckles. Everything is fine, honey. Not sounding very convincing. I pre-oxide and bandage my hand, walk to the sink and wash my face. I look up to the mirror to see my red puffy eyes. Hair is a mess. I look as bad as I feel. My thoughts interrupted by the sound of a fire alarm blaring. Oh shit, it's a food! I say aloud as I race to a smoke-filled kitchen, quickly taking the burnt garlic bread from the oven. I race to opening any windows close to the kitchen to fan out as much smoke as possible. Can this day get any worse? Of course it can. As night falls and the temperature starts to drop, the weatherman says that this should be the coldest night of the year as we make the change from summer to fall. It would be dropping below freezing. What the weatherman didn't tell us is that tonight would be the night our family changed forever. I start a fire in the fireplace to help keep the house warm at night. I put Katie to bed, on edge and unable to sleep. I decide to relax on the couch, watching some late night TV while I eventually fall asleep. Another dream, but different this time. I'm the mom. I'm in the garage, standing on a stool with a noose around my neck. I ran my husband off. He's in the arms of the other woman, abandoned us. It's my fault. I should have been a better wife. The thought of my daughter being better off without me fills my head. My heart is heavy, and it seems like that feeling will never end. I hear the little girl call out for me. Hearing her voice made me see how crazy this was, and how much she needed me. I stand on my tiptoes to remove the noose when the stool loses its balance and tips over. I'm awoken suddenly, startled by the sound of violence beating on my front door. I jump up in a panic to open the door. What I saw will be plastered in my mind forever. It was the mom, hanging from my porch ceiling, like she had been in the garage so many times in my dreams. Her eyes spring open, making contact with mine. I let out a scream of terror. Save her, she says in this same soft-spoken voice. I slam the door. Katie! I scream as I run down the hall to her room. I push through the door and switch on the light. Katie is now sitting up in a bed, rubbing her eyes, looking confused. What's wrong, Mommy? The violent beating starts on the door again before I can answer. I grab Katie and sprint to the living room, placing on the front for the fireplace. I open the door to see the mom from my dream, now standing by the tree line. She points into the woods and repeats a phrase I've heard so many times before. Save her. I know what I have to do now. Katie, sit in the spot and don't move, okay? She nods in agreement, looking more frightened than I've ever seen. I hand her my phone. Call 911, honey. Tell them to get here as fast as possible. You remember our address, right? She nods again. I run out to the door and past the mom into the woods. I have no idea where I'm running, but I can't stop. The mom appears in front of me and points in other direction. I turn into the direction she is pointing me, still in a full sprint. Thorns scraping my legs, but adrenaline causing me to feel no pain. I see a makeshift tent in the distance, made out of a bed comforter that I hadn't been able to find for weeks. I shed back to the comforter to see a little girl from my dreams looking up at me, clutching that doll to her chest and shivering violently from the cold. I take her in my arms and sprint back towards the house. I burst through the front door, stripping off my shirt and placing the girl against my bare skin. I take a seat in the front of the fireplace.
Harley? This is the friend I was telling you about. Is she okay, Mommy?
Yes, Katie, she will be fine. Will you bring us a blanket, please? She runs to her room. She emerges a few seconds later with a Shopkins blanket to cover us both up. I can hear the police sirens in the distance, getting louder as each second passes. Thank you. The mom's voice fills my head, as if she had whispered it in my ear. The voice sounds much more at peace now. After Harley recovered, she led the police to her house, where they found her mom, badly decomposed, hanging in the garage. I've since then took fostering classes and took the girl in. It has almost been a year now, and for her birthday, I present Harley with an envelope.
Better be money in this,
she joked as she tore it open and pulled out a piece of paper inside. Katie and I officially welcome you to the family. Harley, I'm adopting you! I blurt out with excitement before she can even begin to read adoption papers I had just given her. Her eyes swell up in tears as she ran into my embrace. Thanks, Mom! If you're looking for a sign not to commit suicide, this is it. You're not alone. The world is a better place with you in it. When you feel like giving up, remember the reason you held on for so long.